And so, I'm going to the Met and I'm watching performances and I'm seeing all these tenors, Jerry Hadley, Neil Wilson, Keith Olsen. They're all tearing it up at the Met. And I'm like, and I keep asking, who's training these guys? Same name kept coming up, Tom LaMonaco, Tom LaMonaco. I'm like, who? Tom LaMonaco. This is the guy I'd read about in Opera News that Jerry told me about. So I called Tommy, the biggest teacher in New York, the biggest tenor trainer in New York. I'm thinking, if he even takes my call, maybe he'll see me in like 3 months. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're the guy that Jerry told me was going to call. I said, yeah, that's me. I'd love to come and sing for you. I'd love to, see what you think. I'd love to be part of the studio. And he says, and I'm at work, and he goes, great. He says to me, why don't you come over at how's 3 o'clock? And I'm like, I did like a Ralph Cramden. I'm like, I couldn't even talk. I was like, 3 o'clock, what, today? So I went over, I sang a horribly terrified rendition of Que Jelly de Manina, first act aria from La Boheme.
Yep.
He goes, what do you want to sing, lad? He called everybody lad. I said, all right, I want to sing the first act aria from La Boheme. He goes, all right, go ahead, whenever you're ready. Then I went, Que Jelly de Manina. I did. That's what I sang. Because that's what I thought I heard on the album. It was real musical. It was real pretty. It was about this big. And Tom, first thing I saw him do was lean forward. I was like, oh God, he can't hear me over the piano. I'm getting out of here. I'm going back to Watertown. That's it. I'm done. I'm over. And Tommy was like, listen, you're one of the most musical guys that's ever come to sing for me. He goes, your interpretation was beautiful. Your use of the phrasing was beautiful. Your voice is horribly underdeveloped. And I went, wait. First he was, complimenting me, and then he slid that one in. I'm like, underdeveloped? What do you mean? I don't understand. And I really didn't. I had no concept. And this will never come through, over a Skype interview, but Tom took me over. He said, come over here. And Tom, now remember, Tom was about 60, I don't know, late 60s by this point. He says, do me a favor, imitate me. He goes up the piano, plays a G, and he goes like this. Make this sound for me, okay? And he's 2 feet from my face, and he goes like this. Make this sound for me. He goes. He goes, do that for me. I went, no, that's not possible. And I had the images of blood spray pattern on the walls and my cords flying out of my throat. And he goes, come on, lad, make that sound. And this went on for like an hour. And, obviously I couldn't make the sound, but I did the best I could. And that was my introduction to Tom. He's like, listen, you want to sing for 2,000 people, 3,000 people, whatever? He says, no microphone. You need to, you want to train like all the guys you go to the opera right now to see? This is how we do it. And within 6 months, I'm seeing Jerry Hadley now, the guy who gave me the introduction, these guys who I'm idolizing on TV, coming out when I'm walking in and walking in when I'm going out. And I'm in there working with Tom, taking lessons, and he goes, hey, who's waiting for a lesson after you? Jerry Hadley's here. And then he goes, Jerry, come on in here. I want you to hear this kid. And he gets Jerry to come into the studio. He goes, you remember this guy? This is the guy that you brought in from Watertown. And Jerry was like, yeah. And all of a sudden, Tom's like, sing here, lad. And he wants me to sing I'll sing like a phrase from Aida or something, to high B flat or whatever. And then suddenly Jerry and I are going out to lunch.
Wow.
I'm meeting all these people. And that's basically the story. Tommy kept me in the studio for about 5 years.
Wow.
Wouldn't let me sing. I never sang a note at home. Didn't sing in between. I worked at this video store 65 hours a week to be able to afford 3 lessons a week with Tom. And that was my life. That's all I did.